Recent footage has emerged showing Stephanie White, head coach of the Indiana Fever, actively training with star player Caitlin Clark, sparking intense speculation about a potential playoff return. The video reveals White directly defending Clark in practice drills while assistant coach Andrew provides ball handling support. A significant development centers around teammate Dantas, who has been absent for 3 consecutive games due to concussion protocol. This absence creates a crucial opportunity under league regulations. According to WNBA rules, there exists a pathway for Clark's return if an injured teammate is officially ruled out for the remainder of the postseason. The league maintains specific guidelines regarding hardship signings, though these rules remain complex for casual observers. But people, I'm no casual fan. I believe they cannot sign hardship players, but don't hold me on that. Don't hold me on that. But with all that being said, man, we gotta head on over to X. Do what we do. This is something that stood out to me after I made my damn video. That is this Stephanie White been in the clip. The training footage raises compelling questions about the team's intentions. Why would the head coach personally engage in defensive drills with Clark if no comeback was planned? The presence of both coaching staff members suggests serious preparation rather than casual practice. This level of coaching involvement typically indicates strategic planning for active roster implementation. Clark has been away from competitive play for approximately 10 weeks, which equals roughly 2.5 months of absence. While this extended break might result in some initial timing adjustments, her fundamental skills and basketball intelligence remain intact. The Fever currently faces elimination scenarios where her return could dramatically shift championship odds. The team has demonstrated strong performance throughout the current playoff run, though struggles persist against zone defensive schemes. White's coaching strategies have shown vulnerability when opponents implement zone coverage, and players occasionally struggle with proper ball movement and screen utilization to counter these defensive sets. However, adding Clark's playmaking abilities could provide solutions to these tactical challenges. Multiple loopholes exist within current WNBA regulations that could facilitate Clark's return, despite widespread reporting suggesting otherwise. Several sports journalists have incorrectly stated that comeback opportunities are impossible, but careful examination of league rules reveals different conclusions. The debate continues among analysts who question why Clark was excluded from initial playoff roster submissions. Social media commentary suggests that even limited minutes would substantially impact series outcomes. Implementing Clark for brief periods, perhaps 2 minutes per quarter, can completely alter game dynamics. Her mere presence on the court changes opponent defensive strategies and creates additional spacing for teammates. The timing appears particularly advantageous given the team's current semi-final position. With championship aspirations within reach, utilizing available talent becomes essential. Where Michael Jeffrey Jordan on your team? You unleash Michael Jeffrey Jordan 2.0 on their ass. You unleash Caitlin and seal the deal. I mean, Caitlin come back, we won. I ain't gonna lie to you. If Caitlin comes back right now, I don't give a damn, we won. Give us the trophy, give us the rings, it's over. She been out for 10 weeks. So what's that? That's 2.5 months. The coaching staff clearly recognizes Clark's potential impact, evidenced by their continued individual training sessions during active playoff competition. Current roster construction allows for flexibility if Dantas receives official medical clearance denying her return. This scenario would open the exact pathway needed for Clark's activation. Team management faces decisions that could determine championship success versus early elimination. The practice footage demonstrates Clark's readiness for immediate implementation. Her conditioning appears solid, and her shooting mechanics remain sharp despite the extended absence. That's 2.5 months. She's been out for 2.5 months. She gonna have a little court rust a little bit. But, bruh, if Caitlin comes back like we all want her to, it's over. I can promise you that. I mean, I'm betting a house on it, bro. If Kayla comes back right now, we gonna get through the aces and we're gonna beat whoever we play. Hands down, because now Caitlin Cummer, that's a whole nother dynamic. White's defensive pressure during drills suggests preparation for game speed intensity rather than basic skill maintenance. Fan pressure continues mounting for management to explore all available options. The supporter base recognizes the unique opportunity presented by current circumstances and advocates for aggressive pursuit of championship goals. This grassroots movement emphasizes the rare chance to maximize competitive advantages. League officials may face scrutiny regarding rule interpretations if Clark remains inactive despite meeting technical requirements for return. The situation presents unprecedented circumstances that test existing regulatory frameworks designed for different scenarios. Hence, because now, Caitlin Cummer, that's a whole nother dynamic, and the team is already firing on all cylinders. Yeah, we lost one game due to zone infractions. I'm gonna call it zone infractions, because for whatever reason, I don't know, but Stephanie White, she just can't coach her way out of them zones, and the damn players, they don't know how to get out of the zones either. Like, you know what I'm saying? They don't know how to pick it row, right? They don't know how to get out of these damn zone situations, bruh. But whatever the case may be, I believe she's going to put together a sequence to kinda, get us out of the semi-final stage. Demands bold decision-making from all involved parties. With championship hardware at stake, conventional wisdom suggests utilizing every available resource. Clark's presence would create mismatches that opponents cannot adequately prepare for on short notice. Training intensity observed in recent footage indicates serious preparation rather than casual basketball activity. The coaching staff investment of time during crucial playoff preparation suggests genuine consideration of activation scenarios. These developments warrant close monitoring as the postseason progresses. Meanwhile, other team contributors continue performing at high levels. Kelsey Mitchell has established new franchise records for three-point shooting and maintains consistent scoring throughout the playoff run. Her electric play style and clutch performances provide reliable offensive production regardless of roster changes. The basketball community watches closely as events unfold. The combination of rule interpretations, injury updates, and coaching decisions will determine whether this speculation transforms into reality. All factors point toward genuine possibility rather than mere wishful thinking from supporters. Like, in practice, warm up and go and play. But Steph Wyatt has been talking about Lexi Hall, basically saying she's been ruled out for precautionary reasons. And I think that's fair. A fair thing to do, because I think people are kind of worried about Lexi Hall. But back injuries are one of those weird things where you can, like I said, here she anticipates Lexi being ready. Lexi's going to be fine. It's one of those, it looks like what competitive advantages gained through Clark's return would extend beyond individual statistics. Her basketball intelligence and court vision create opportunities for teammates while forcing defensive adjustments that open scoring chances. These secondary effects often prove as valuable as direct contributions. The window for implementation remains open pending official injury determinations. Team medical staff evaluations of Dantes will ultimately trigger the next phase of decision-making. Until then, preparation continues as evidenced by ongoing training sessions with coaching staff participation. She's going to be fine. It's one of those, it looks like one of those overuse injuries. She did not look in any way off when she was on the court. And you can see here so far from Tony East, in the portion of practice, we've been able to see Lexi Hall hasn't done much watching and wearing a brace. We'll hear more about official status soon. I'm guessing she went through walkthroughs of plays. She went through the game plan. But look, if Lexi Hall's back is going to let her play 45 minutes of basketball, Lexi Hall has been absent from Indiana Fever practice sessions due to back discomfort, though this development appears manageable rather than concerning. Medical staff anticipates Hull will remain available for gameplay despite skipping full practice participation. The expectation is that Hull will avoid intensive practice sessions for the remainder of the postseason, regardless of how far the team advances. Current protocol involves Hull participating in walkthrough sessions and light shooting drills rather than full contact practice. This approach allows her to maintain game readiness while protecting her back from additional strain. Coach Stephanie White has indicated Hull's absence stems from precautionary measures rather than serious injury concerns. Back problems often present as overuse issues that can be managed during playoff competition. Hull showed no visible limitations during recent court appearances, suggesting the discomfort remains controllable. Reports indicate Hull has been observed wearing a supportive brace while watching practice portions, with more detailed medical updates expected soon. The conservative approach makes sense given Hull's limited weekly playing playing time. If her back can handle approximately 45 minutes of basketball across 3 or 4 days, those minutes should occur during actual games rather than practice. Team medical staff would not clear Hull for competition if serious injury existed, as demonstrated by their handling of other player situations. The little things. Lexi does all of the little things that you want a team to do. She absolutely wants to do all of the little things. She does all the little things. It's hard to find the Lexi Hull out there. And that's one of those things where I think a lot of people are. They're kind of, when it comes to Lexi being like, you know what, she doesn't shoot the greatest percentage from 3. She doesn't really handle the ball. She's not a bad 3-point shooter. She doesn't shoot at all good from 2. She has no floater. She's not good at taking layup. Hull's value extends beyond traditional statistical contributions. While she may not rank among elite scorers, her role centers on intangible contributions that prove difficult to replace. Her 3-point shooting percentages remain inconsistent, and her 2-point field goal attempts show similar struggles. She lacks a reliable floater and faces challenges finishing layups consistently. However, Hull's defensive impact operates differently than traditional stoppers. Rather than shutting down isolation scorers completely, she creates disruption through hustle plays and smart positioning. Not good at taking layups, but Lexi Hull's kind of all intangibles. And she is a defensive playmaker. She's not a defensive stopper, she's a defensive playmaker. Like, she's not, if you are an isolation scorer, she's not gonna be one of the top 15, 20 defenders at getting a stop. But what she can do is, she can draw 2 charges a game of an elite scorer and get them to foul trouble and they're gone. She can make 2 huge hustle plays as a weak side defender and get 2 big steals. Her ability to draw multiple charging fouls per game against elite scorers puts opponents in foul trouble, effectively removing threats through strategic play rather than lockdown defense. Hull excels at weak side defensive rotations, generating steals and creating extra possessions through anticipation and effort. Her defensive contributions come through playmaking rather than preventing shots entirely. This distinction separates her from traditional defensive stoppers who can single-handedly neutralize offensive threats. The Fever roster construction reveals a need for both Hull's hustle and additional defensive stopping power in their starting lineup. Sophie Cunningham provides containment rather than shutdown defense, backing off consistently to prevent drives but struggling against players who can create separation from mid-range shots or 3-pointers. Both players bring discipline by avoiding unnecessary gambles while maintaining positional integrity. Hull's importance to team chemistry and execution cannot be understated. The Fever require improved 3-point shooting from Hull, ideally reaching 40% efficiency from beyond the arc. Opposing teams, particularly Las Vegas, may target Hull offensively by forcing her into primary scoring situations where she feels less comfortable. The absence of a reliable third scoring option creates additional pressure on Hull and other role players. While teams can effectively neutralize 2 primary scorers, defending 3 or 4 consistent threats becomes exponentially more difficult. Backs off. But if you're able to create in any way and create separation for that midi or a 3, Sophie Cunningham can't guide you. Like, she's very, Sophie's disciplined. Lexi is not they're not gonna, both of them are disciplined, they're not gonna fucking leave you. So they are key, she's a key player for the Fever. And look, the Indiana Fever need Lexi Hull to shoot 40% from 3. The problem is that I do think that the recent tactical adjustments have somewhat limited other players' effectiveness, placing greater emphasis on Hull's contributions. Hull's toughness and playoff mentality suggests she will compete despite discomfort levels that might sideline players during regular season games. Pain management during competition differs significantly from practice participation, and Hull's demonstrated resilience indicates she can perform effectively while dealing with back issues. The distinction between injury and discomfort becomes crucial in playoff contexts. If Hull faces genuine structural back injury, participation would be inadvisable regardless of competitive circumstances. I do think that the Aces are going to have tried to make Lexi Hull beat them. And I don't know if Lexi Hull has it in her to win this game. And that's not a knock on Lexi Hull. Like, Lexi Hull has never been the player. And I don't think when it comes to, like the Indiana Fever, they don't have that kind of third star scorer right now. However, if the issue involves muscle spasms, general soreness, or manageable pain, playing through discomfort becomes reasonable during championship pursuits. Additional roster challenges compound whole situation.